afternoon, and welcome to the show. I'm Deacon John, and my guest for today is Paul Sackavick. Welcome, Paul.
Thank you.
Okay, Paul, I've got a few years, huh? We've known each other for a while.
Yeah, just a few years.
Just a few years. I can remember working over the Sacred Heart Church. I lived across the street, and I'd be doing yard work and go over to visit you at the porch and stuff, and a couple years ahead of me in high school, so we've known each other for a while. Paul's been back in the area for about roughly 9 years now, and I got very much involved in the community service with Senior Center and our place, and you help out a special needs gentleman, so get quite a bit going. So kind of explain how you get involved in all this stuff and what brought you back to the area. And
Okay, well that's a good question, how I did get involved in all this. Well, first of all, getting involved in this really because I moved back into the area.
Right.
There were still a lot of people that I was familiar with, situations that I knew about.
Yeah, yeah.
And I've sort of got some things here that I had listed.
Good, that's good. We got a half hour, you know. Okay, go for it. Go for it.
Well, it's interesting. I says, well, what are you really going to talk about? And I've often said this, and I work with a young man who is on the autistic spectrum, I guess is the so-called term they use these days.
Yeah, yeah.
And that actually began in July of 2011.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I could focus on that for a bit.
Sure, that's fine, yeah, yeah.
So that began in July of 2011. And it actually began because Leaside Deli was first opening up. And I used to, of course, when I was growing up, that was one of the stores we went to.
Yeah, just down the street from you, really. Yeah,
right
around the corner.
Yeah, around the corner.
Yeah.
And so I ended up going over there to check out the new deli. And I was sitting there, and it just happened that, I don't know if I can use first name, but anyways.
Sure.
Eric's parents were there.
Yeah.
Now, I happened to have been in college with Eric's father.
Oh, really?
In fact, we were fraternity brothers.
No kidding. Wow.
So we knew each other. And
Yeah,
then, of
yeah.
course, his mother, Priscilla,
Yeah.
was a couple years behind me in high school.
Priscilla Clough?
Yeah.
She was a classmate of mine.
Yes.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Okay.
small world, huh?
And,
Yeah, Priscilla Clough.
interesting enough, we got to talking. They
Yeah.
knew I was in the area. They knew my past experiences about education, et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
And so they asked me if I was interested in working with their son, Eric. And
Yeah.
I said, yeah. So anyways, I ended up visiting with them maybe a week or two later.
Mm-hmm.
And made the commitment
Mm-hmm.
and began to work with Eric.
Yeah.
And what that's led to,
Yeah.
which is partly, again, what you mentioned about community services.
Mm-hmm.
What that led to was one of the things I had become somewhat familiar with because of my age was going down to the Bellows Falls Area Senior Center.
Right.
And so what happened was when I began to be with Eric
Mhm.
and monitor him on different jobs. Now, one of the places that we did work or do work is at Leaside's Market,
Right.
where he stocks shelves on Tuesday mornings, which is really a delight to see,
Mm-hmm.
and the people that work with him. But also, after we get done with that on Tuesday, we go over to the Senior Center and do Meals on Wheels.
Mm-hmm.
And again, what a delight that is.
Yeah.
And of course, his interaction with me is a plus.
Yeah.
But people love seeing him come.
Right.
He does the job.
Mhm.
It's a great help.
Mm-hmm.
So we spend approximately an hour and a half doing the whole Meals on Wheels
Right.
job.
Mm-hmm.
We do that on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays.
Right.
Now, you mentioned our place drop-in center in
Yeah.
the groceries, and what happened was we happened to make one of the newspapers with a picture.
I saw the article.
And that's
Yeah,
the one
right.
you
There you
saw.
go.
And actually, we only do that on the third Friday of each month.
Right.
And we deliver to anywhere from 10 to 13 people,
Yeah.
the groceries.
Yeah.
And again, Eric is just a real delight
Yeah.
to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And so we go around, and it's all in town.
Mm-hmm.
And again, it's just something that I can do, but I can do with Eric, and Eric can do with me, and
That's
it
right.
really does work out quite well.
That's good.
For myself, again, doing the Meals on Wheels is wonderful. Doing the groceries is wonderful at our place. Another thing that I ended up doing, because my first so-called career was as a math teacher.
Yeah.
And also at the time when I was teaching, being in the area, I began to do my parents' taxes. Anyways, it was interesting doing their taxes because I'd always done my own anyways.
Yeah.
And I was discovering that there were certain benefits that people, especially seniors, could get, but you had to do your taxes.
Right.
And my dad was not too interested in doing the taxes.
Yeah, that wasn't his forte.
No. And well, he didn't really think, he didn't have to
right.
pay any taxes, so he didn't do it, but there were some benefits.
Yeah.
So I ended up doing their taxes, and then what happened was I had an opportunity to do some training for doing taxes through the ARP tax counseling to the elderly, volunteer income tax assistance. It's called VITA/TCE. And we're actually doing taxes right now up at the Bellows Falls Area Senior Center. And we do that on Mondays and Wednesdays. You do have to call the Senior Center though to get an appointment. The appointment lasts approximately 45 minutes. But anyways, so I'm able to go there and do the taxes on Mondays and Wednesdays from approximately 9 to 2. Another site that we have gone and is the Canal House. We go down there on one particular day and do taxes there. We were actually scheduled to do taxes at the Riverview Apartments. If I don't mind adding, by the way, it's kind of neat for me to go in the Riverview Apartments because when it was the old Armory, they used to have a basketball court.
They did, I remember that. I played with the Squires down there.
In Hardy Merrill.
Yeah.
Used to be able to get us in there.
Yeah.
And we'd go and play basketball.
Yeah, I remember with the Squires we played basketball down here.
A lot of fun.
Yeah.
So I really enjoyed that, but it is kind of neat to see the building being used the way it is now.
Yeah.
There's a lot of the good things I can say about my good old hometown of Bellows Falls.
Quite a few people down here you probably know too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, one of them is Dick Doyle's mother, Dottie.
Oh, she's down there. I didn't realize she's still there. Yeah,
she's in her 90s.
Not Perry.
She's in her 90s. So. Again, if I try to, and again, I don't know how much time to try to keep talking here.
Just keep talking.
But one of the good things too that happened was I was also became aware of the Bellows Falls Area Warming Shelter, and the first couple of years I got involved in that, where you take a shift either from 7 p.m. to 1 a.m. or 1 a.m. to 7 a.m.
Yeah.
And it's worked out quite well, and I'm grateful that I'll just say given the opportunity to be able to do that service, and so anyways we have guests, as we say, who come. Yeah. And some you can get to know a little bit. Some are more quiet. Yeah. They are real human beings. They are. Yeah. With real needs. Yeah. And it certainly is a very Christian function. That's right. But it's also a very practical function. Yeah.
Now, when you say the Bellows Falls Warming Shelter, that's really in North Walpole.
Well, interesting enough, we did start again.
It's right here in the town, but it's over there now.
We started in town. Yeah. We had a really good location and a good setup, but we had to move over to over into the
Walpole.
building over North Walpole, which
Tom
again,
Kenny's old store.
who?
Tom Kenny's old
Well,
store.
I actually remember Jim Van Etten.
Yeah, that's after Tom Kennedy. Yeah, J&W Market.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm going back.
Yeah, I'm going back to Tom Kenny when the original guy that had it.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Tom Kenny did Van Etten and what's his name? West Davies bought it off of Tom Kenny.
West Davies. Oh, my
J&W.
God.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that either.
J&W.
Anyways,
Was
so
it
it's
your
always
moment?
was
Yeah.
interesting that here I am in a building that
Yeah.
again I used to do some shopping in
Yeah.
or drop by and whatever,
Yeah.
and knew the owner and
Yeah,
all that
yeah.
kind of stuff.
Yeah, Jimmy Van Etten and West Davies, they got it together, and then you probably know Bill Gallagher worked in that store many years ago too, helping out with groceries.
I think Bill graduated in '64.
Yeah, he
or
did. Yeah,
63.
in between us.
You know, we were on the basketball team with Tim Ryan.
Yeah, yeah.
Tim was our coach,
Yeah.
and Stan Johnson was our JV coach.
Was it? Yeah.
Very,
That goes
very
back a few years ago. We're talking.
well, very important men to me growing up.
Yeah, right.
And I can name several people, such as Lover Dexter
Yeah,
was another one that was very important.
that's right. He was very much important.
And
St. Charles Junior High had him as a coach.
yeah.
Well,
Well,
I was in North Walpole. We had Joe Doobie.
Well, Joe Doobie, who ran that infamous clock that they had at the Bellows Falls gym
Yeah,
in our what we call it our Cracker Box
yeah,
gym.
Yeah.
And but I know when I was playing basketball, we used zone defense
Yeah.
because it fit right into that little gym,
yeah.
and it worked.
Yeah. So I remember the B-boys.
Yes.
You remember some of them, okay?
Yeah.
Because we had Harold Bushway,
Well,
Jimmy Bushway,
his
okay,
uncle, right?
Jimmy Bigelow,
Was
yeah, Richie
he was
Bashaw.
if they had the 3-point shot, he would have been right
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
He was a very good outside shooter.
Yeah, all the one team, all started with B.
Yeah.
Bigelow, Bashaw, Bushway,
Yeah.
and
And those are the days when we had the North Walpole connection.
they did, yeah, right.
So
yeah.
some of the players would be from St. Charles or from the North Walpole Junior
yeah,
High.
Bells Halls.
And it really was a plus.
It was, yeah, at that time.
And a lot of good things
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It was fun growing up in the area at that time, Paul.
What's that?
It was fun growing up
Oh,
in this
gosh.
area in that time.
My sister graduated in 1960, and Ann and I, when we get together, at least once a week,
Yeah,
we get to reminiscing, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things we almost always admit, our
Yeah.
growing up
Yeah.
time at the time.
yeah,
This was the days when the trucking companies were here,
that's right.
the paper mills
Paper
were
mills, the
going,
railroads.
downtown was downtown.
It was, yeah.
And we had 2 churches,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
2. I should say 2 Catholic churches.
2 Catholic churches, yeah.
The Sacred Heart Church,
At least
which
7 churches. We had the Baptist Church, Emmanuel Church, the United Church, and let's see what else was there at that time open. Well, they closed the Congregational and the other one that is now the Grange. But I mean, still, man, it was great growing up in this area. And like I say, when you come back to help out in this area, you know a lot of the people, and you know a lot of the what was going on. So that's a plus right there.
again, I am a member of St. Charles Church,
Yeah.
but I have attended churches in Charlestown, the Catholic St.
Yeah.
Catherine's,
Right.
and the recognition of living, for me, living right across the street from the Sacred Heart Church.
Right. Oh yeah.
I think I'll say, as I got older, and I would get up on a Sunday morning to go to church, sort of dawned on me that why do I want to get up and walk all the way up to St. Charles when I can walk right across the street
Yeah.
to Sacred Heart?
Yeah. Yeah.
And again, those are the days when the priest would give his homily in both Polish and in English.
Right.
And that was an experience.
That happened up until the 1960s because Father Warner would do that.
Yeah.
And I think Father Nancy might have did it for a while, but then after post-Vatican II, things changed where they stuck mostly with the English.
Yeah.
But I know because I used to go, I was living for North Walpole, I'd go to Sacred Heart. And people didn't realize that because it was a Polish church and my grandparents were involved in it, so I stuck with it. And of course I knew a lot of people from North Walpole. I've been at St. Peter's and stuff like that, but it's amazing because I got to know so many people in both communities, like that. It's like I say, I remember, working across the street in the flower bed or cutting the grass, and you'd be sitting on the porch, and I'd come over and talk to you, so.
Well, we had the house until 2008.
Yeah,
And my mom was there, I think she was out of the house by about 2002, 2003, I can't
Yeah.
quite remember.
yeah,
And, but I had a nice snow blower,
yeah,
and so when we get some of those snowstorms, I would go over with my snow blower and help,
yeah,
clear the snow
Yeah.
from the front of the church
Right.
walks and everything.
yeah,
That was always good. I enjoyed
sure,
that.
that's great.
So, and again, growing up in this town at the time I did was great. And when I come back to another place. Oh, here, another place that I've sort of like connected to is the Parks Place.
Nice place.
I'm able to be in a place in my life at this point, thanks be to God, believe me, where I can, there are certain items that they need, and I'm able to
Yeah, help out.
purchase those
Yeah,
items
right, yeah,
and make that donation.
sure, that's good.
And again, there's also a food shelf over in the Alsted area.
Oh, yeah, Pomo.
And from Leaside, I'm able to, so to speak, get things by cost, I guess I want to say,
Yeah,
where I get certain items
Yeah.
and able to get those over there.
and it's good, it's good.
And so I don't know. It's been pretty interesting again for me to be in the area, being involved with different things.
Yeah.
Another thing I can go back to is working with Eric.
Yeah,
And I probably work, I'm going to guess, 20 to 25 hours with him. And besides mentoring him on jobs, I didn't mention Vermont Academy. We go out to Vermont Academy on Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday mornings, work in the dining room.
oh, really, that's great.
And, yeah, it is
Yeah.
wonderful.
Yeah,
And then on some of the afternoons, some of the things that on Tuesdays we go down to Keene and do bowling. And
Candlepin?
no, it's the 10-pin.
10-pin, okay, just checking.
It's the big balls. And
Yeah, right, sure.
And he he can knock some of the pins down.
That's good,
It's
yeah.
kind of fun to do that.
That's
with him.
great, that's great. Just to watch him have fun, that's the main thing.
Well, and he does, and
Yeah.
and you can see that he is
Yeah,
enjoying
it, yeah.
He also we go down to the Austin School. It's not Austin School now, but we go down to the gym down there
Yeah.
on Monday nights to play basketball. And there's usually anywhere from 8 to 12 young people, or I
Yeah.
should say young people, but
Yeah,
and
They're
then
younger than you, right?
we
Yeah.
we play basketball.
Yeah.
And again, Eric has developed a pretty good little shot. And that's a lot of fun. When the weather gets better, he also does horseback riding
Wow.
one day a week. One afternoon.
Whereabouts is that located, Paul?
We first were doing it down in Keene at Miracles in Motion, and it was wonderful.
Yeah.
The people there were just great with Eric. They call it therapeutic riding. It was wonderful. And then unfortunately they closed. And then we ended up going up to Springfield. Oh, I'm embarrassed to say I can't quite remember the name. But the person who works with Eric is Zoe. I think she has a son that played football here. I can't quite remember.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is Eric was able to go up there and have just as much fun, and Zoe is just great
Yeah.
with working with Eric.
Now, just out of curiosity, when you got involved working with Eric, I know, like I said, he was special needs, and like you said, there's a special term for it. Did you have to take any kind of training or anything to work with individuals?
Well, again, make a long story short, which I'm not famous for. I say my first career. Okay, I was a math teacher over at Fall Mountain High School. And at the time, I started in '68, and there was a group of us teachers who realized we had students who had, they could be in the classroom, but they needed special help. So some of us got together and eventually formed an unofficial group of teachers who were going to deal with these special kids.
Right.
And we did. And then that sparked me to, at the time I had a degree from the University of Vermont, hooray, and I knew that Keene State College was down there, so I was able to sign up for some courses down there. And lo and behold, I did get a master's in education, but I did a lot of courses in so-called special ed.
Correct.
And then I've had the opportunity, in other words, to work with people who, I don't know what to say other than just people who are just great people, and you mentor them a little bit more.
Right.
And so when it was mentioned to me, and of course, growing up in this town, I'm not going to remember all the names, but there were several special people.
Right.
And seeing the families love them, care for them.
Right. We knew them. Like, for instance, I'll give you an example. Ray Masuko's brother, Johnny.
Yeah.
Everybody knew Johnny Masuko.
Yeah.
I mean, he was quite a character, but I mean, they loved him, they nourished him, they took care of him, and I mean, they didn't send him off anywhere. He was involved right here with his family, which is a plus.
Yeah. Well, again, by the way, working with Eric, one of the things that has happened is it's amazing to see how many people know him.
Yeah.
So I might be going to the post office or be at Leasey's or out of Vermont Academy or just in town here.
Yeah.
Oh, hi Eric, how you doing?
Yeah.
And what it's allowed me to do is meet a lot of people that I would have never met before.
That's right.
And get to know them a little bit more.
Yeah.
And
but it helps him out because I mean, he feels like that these people acknowledge him for what he's doing, and that it makes him feel like he's an average person.
Yeah.
He's not really, even though we all know that he needs that special care, but then again, to him, hey, they treat me like I'm just somebody.
Well, one of the wonderful things about Eric is, if I could go on a limb to say this, what he does for people is unconditional.
Yeah.
What he does, I've seen him do kindnesses that are amazing, and I'll give a good example is, I guess it's okay to, I don't know. Anyways, we were sitting up at the Dairy Joy, which a few people know about the Dairy Joy, I think. We're up at the Dairy Joy, and by the way, when I was a kid growing up on Green Street, I was up playing in the cinder blocks as they were building this place.
Right, I can remember there was nothing there too, walking by there.
That's how far back I go. But anyways, we were sitting in the Dairy Joy, and Eric was here, facing the door, and I was here, and there was a fellow trying to get in the door with a walker.
Yeah.
Okay, and Eric looked, and he gets up, goes over, and he opens the door for the guy.
Yeah.
I didn't, he just did that.
He did it. He did it on his own. Yeah, that's
and when I've seen him get his grandmother at the time was living with them, and I've seen him get her wheelchair and bring it over to her. Just do wonderful, kind things.
Yeah.
And like I say, I'll emphasize, this is all unconditional.
Yeah.
Eric is just doing that out of just pure love is the best way I can put it.
That's right. Yeah.
It's incredible for me to see sometimes. We call Eric special, and in a lot of ways he is special.
Yeah.
He does things that are just so good to see, and many times they'll be some of the most important things that'll happen to me in the day is when I see him do stuff, I just mentioned.
I think that if you treat these people with love and respect, and show that they are somebody that some way within they see this. And they take it upon themselves to say that if this is the way it's supposed to be, then just the way I act, I should be the same way as people treat me. I should treat somebody else the same way. And that's what rubs off. And I think it's there. And I mean, it's within their grasp that they get love, they show love, and I think that's what it's all about. So I appreciate you coming on, Paul. And I'd like to come on again sometime. You got some more to talk about, or what?
Well, we can talk.
Can you come up with something?
We can talk again.
Okay,
I sort of made a little list here.
And that's fine. Is there more stuff on there we can talk about, or did you use it all up?
No, we've pretty much got what we need at this point.
Okay.
And I hope I did touch on the good stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely.
But one of the again, you know, I love Bellows Falls,
Yeah.
and I see things like Parks Place, the warming shelter, the tax assistance that's going on right now, the senior center. I see the town take buildings like the old armory and make it into a good housing.
Yeah.
I see. I grew up when the Canal House was, you know, a restaurant, and they had, you know, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
And they make that into a nice resident area
Yeah.
for people. I do know that you know, there are some businesses downtown that aren't there now, but again, to see. The spirit of the town is okay. We're going to get something going here.
Yeah, I think so eventually. Yeah,
and
it's not going to be like it was in the '50s when we grew up, but it can be more vibrant than it is. So.
One of the more unique things I believe for the town is also the way back Alan Halberg, I believe, was the fella, where they took over the Opera House. And that's a real plus because the Opera House has been what do I say, remodeled, so to speak,
right. And bringing people into town.
And they do other events there besides just movies, and that's what I meant by the spirit of Bellows Falls. It's there, it works.
Yeah, well, I appreciate you coming on. We got to get together sometime. You know, think of worse things we can discuss, and I think we can go a little bit further because we do have known each other for a long time, and other things that we really can get involved in. So, but I appreciate it. So, down the road we'll get together. I like to bring in people more often so that if you come on the second time in a row, they'll say, "I just saw him last week." So we'll wait a while, a couple of months, and bring you in again, and then take it from there. So, everybody's watching. I hope you enjoyed the show, and I appreciate it. For all the guests that watch, may Almighty God bless you, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. Amen.